Welcome to The Explainer. All right, today we're tackling a paradox that absolutely glitters. India, a country that loves gold, really loves gold, has one of the biggest appetites for it in the world. But here's the weird part. They barely mine any of it themselves. So what is going on here? It's a question that seems to defy all logic, doesn't it? In India, gold isn't just, a commodity. It's so much more. It's woven right into the fabric of the culture. We're talking weddings, savings, security. So why on earth isn't the country just pulling it out of its own ground? And when I say they barely mine any, the scale of this imbalance is, well, it's just staggering. Get this. Every single year, India imports around 1,000 tons of gold. 1,000. And their domestic production? A tiny, almost laughable 1.5 tons. That huge gap, that's the mystery we're unpacking today. Okay, so to really get our heads around this gap between what they want and what they produce, we've got to take a trip back in time. The story actually starts deep, deep underground with the echoes from India's old, once great gold mines. And that brings us to the legendary Kolar Gold Fields. Maybe you've heard of it as KGF. For 120 years, this place was the absolute crown jewel of Indian mining. It pumped out 800 tons of gold. But its story, which kind of sadly ends with its shutdown back in 2001, holds the very first clue to our puzzle. Now, the key thing to get here is that KGF didn't just run out of gold. That's not what happened. It became way too expensive to operate. Think about it. As the miners had to go deeper and deeper, we're talking over 3 kilometers down, the costs for everything from power to ventilation just skyrocketed. It simply wasn't profitable anymore.
So that leads to the obvious question, right? Maybe the reason India doesn't mine much gold is, well, because there's just nothing left to find. Have they just run out?
Well, it turns out that's not the case at all. Not even close. India knows exactly where the gold is. The vast majority of the known reserves, a whopping 88% of it, is sitting right there in the state of Karnataka. The rest is just next door in Andhra Pradesh. So, yeah, the gold is there. It's just waiting. Okay, so if there's plenty of gold in the ground and the old mines are only part of the story, what's the real reason for this standstill? The answer isn't about geology. Nope, it's about bureaucracy. We're talking about decades and decades of policy that basically tangled the entire industry up in red tape. For years, the system was just a nightmare. Imagine this. You needed approvals from the central government, but then the state government was the one handing out the licenses. The whole process was murky, not competitive at all. And even if a company managed to win a bid, they then faced this insane paperwork labyrinth of clearances, environmental, wildlife, forest, you name it. Honestly, it was enough to make anyone just give up before they even started. So yeah, that bureaucratic maze basically ground the entire industry to a halt for years. But then, in 2023, something really big happened. A landmark bill got passed, and it was designed specifically to finally cut through all that red tape and unlock the land. This 2023 amendment didn't just tweak the rules, it completely flipped the script. Instead of that murky government-led mess, private companies can now get licenses just to explore. The shady backroom deals, gone, replaced with transparent auctions. And maybe the biggest deal of all? The explorers now get a direct financial incentive. If you find something, you get a share of the future profits. A total game changer. And hey, this isn't just some theory on paper. We're already seeing the first real-world test of this new policy in action. It's happening right now at a place called the Jonnagiri Gold Project in Andhra Pradesh. And listen, the Jonnagiri project is a really big deal. It's hitting all these incredible milestones. It's India's first private gold mine. It's the first major new gold discovery since independence. And it's the very first mine being developed entirely under these new 2023 rules. It's basically the ultimate proof of concept, showing that this new way of doing things can actually work. So what does that mean in terms of actual, gold? Well, once it's fully up and running, this one project is expected to produce 750 kilograms of gold in its very first year. Okay, I know what you're thinking. 750 kilos? That doesn't sound like a lot when you're importing 1,000 tons. But let's put that number in perspective. That single project is set to boost India's entire domestic gold output by over 60%. 60! That's not a small step. That's a massive leap. And here's a really cool little fact for you. What's so fascinating is that this site, it isn't really a new discovery. There are ancient markings there that show people were mining for gold on this exact same spot thousands of years ago. So today's miners are literally, and I mean literally, following in the footsteps of their ancient ancestors. So, this all brings us to the big picture question, right? Is this one project, as cool as it is, actually going to solve India's massive dependence on imported gold? And we have to be realistic here. The short answer, no. Not right away, anyway. A few hundred kilograms, it's still just a drop in the ocean compared to the 1,000 tons the country needs every single year. But, and this is the important part, focusing only on that misses the real story. The true significance here is so much broader. The Jonnagiri project is setting a precedent. The real prize of this new policy isn't just gold. It's about creating a whole new framework that could unlock a treasure trove of other critical resources. You see, this same set of rules is designed to fast-track exploration for a whole list of other critical minerals. We're talking about stuff like rhenium, tungsten, cobalt, the things that are absolutely essential for, well, everything in our modern world, from your smartphone to green energy tech. Which kind of leaves us with this final big thought to chew on. The story of Jonnagiri, it isn't really just about a new gold rush. It might just be the opening chapter of a much bigger story. The moment India finally starts to unlock the vast, untapped mineral wealth that's been hidden right under its feet all this time.